Hi guys, what's up everyone? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to TSP TV, and in this episode we're going to talk a little bit about quarantine. How ready are you should it happen to be called into effect where you live? And reason for this is around the world the coronavirus is trending and going viral on news feeds and mainstream media everywhere. Each and every day there are growing reports that there are more and more people being infected by this, and over the weekend just gone in Italy we actually seen some drastic measures called by the Italian government, and they called a stop to several large profile soccer matches which were cancelled due to coronavirus related issues. And also reports coming out of Italy that grocery stores and food supplies are dwindling in stores and stuff like this because people are panic buying and preparing to be quarantined. I've also heard some stories that in California 7,000 people were ordered to be quarantined. Now, whether or not this is accurate information or misinformation, or just people taking the opportunity to use this current trend in coronavirus outbreak as a way to, maybe get whatever it is they can out of misinforming people. As I said, I'm on the fence a little bit about what's truly going on with this coronavirus. But quarantine is something that does seem to be always being taken into consideration, and even the CDC have said that Americans should prepare themselves a little bit for a matter of when and not if quarantine is called, in order to prevent this, what is becoming a little bit of a concern over the coronavirus outbreak. Now on this channel for some time now we've taught you how to prep and put together yourself a little bit of an emergency food insurance by using just pretty much the dollar store or low cost grocery stores for your prepping needs. And over a course of a year and a few months I put together a pretty well stocked pantry, or micro pantry. You can watch on my playlists how I've put together over the weeks and months my little emergency food insurance. And just recently I actually had some time off of work due to an old man hip causing me a little bit of discomfort and pain, and hobbling around and having a job where you're on your feet all day for long hours doesn't exactly help matters much. But during that time I actually had to call upon my pantry in order to feed myself through those days. I do work as a cook in a restaurant, and get to eat most days for free at my restaurant in place of work. Sometimes bring home a sandwich, sometimes have a dinner at work before I leave. So I kind of don't really have the need to really keep a lot of groceries at home to eat on. Only on my days off do I tend to feed myself. But during that time it was a little bit of an emergency. I wouldn't say it was the shit hit in the fan, but it was a time where I was actually glad of having my pantry on hand and a food supply to feed myself over the period of time that I wasn't at work and able to eat at the restaurant that I work at. But if you are quarantined, and let's say it was a state of quarantine was issued tomorrow, how much stuff would you have on hand, and how long could you survive a period of quarantine for with the amount of food you have at your disposal now? Now I know some of you that do watch this channel are indeed a little bit like myself, prepared for eventualities that you might have to rely on yourself in order to sustain yourself with nutrients and your daily eating requirements. And that's why I've put together a pretty concise and balanced pantry that's got carbs, protein, fiber, nutrients, vitamins, yada yada, whoop-de-woo, array tay in it. And we can take you over and show you that pantry. So here we are, guys. As always, you've probably seen this before if you followed this channel, and you can kind of see how stocked and ready I would indeed be. Sorry, that's my little heater there. It is still winter time. I do need a little bit of warmth in my basement as it isn't insulated, although the furnace down here does keep it nice and warm. But as I said, if I were to be in a state of quarantine, as quite possibly could be if this coronavirus does turn into a global pandemic and epidemic levels, and people are indeed ordered to stay at home and indoors and have to sustain themselves. You can see here that I have quite a lot of food in cans, canned items, dried food, some stuff like oatmeals, instant rice, shitload of ramen noodles. They've even got a couple of cases of MREs there, as well as some international rations on top there that I bring you for entertainment on this channel. I do ration reviews for personal enjoyment as well as for viewing purposes. But there you go, you can see that I have quite a lot of food stacked up here, and I'd like to estimate that if I really had to, I could make this last for around 6 months, and that really would be kind of stretching it. But if I really had to have 3 square meals a day, I think probably 3 months worth, possibly 4 months worth of food is here. I mean, there's 2 cases of MREs, that's 24 meals there, and some of those do have double entrees inside of them, so you could also almost say that that is a month's worth of food in itself if you just had 1 MRE a day, or maybe kind of stretched out a couple of the components to make an additional meal from each MRE. Like I said, you could probably last for 3 to 4 weeks on what is in there. I mean, 24 meals, that's just over 3 weeks, so there's certainly enough that you components inside there that you could stretch it to 30 days if need be. There's 5 full vendor cases of ramen noodles, so that's over 100. No, that is actually 120 packets of ramen noodles, as well as the ramen that I have in the bottom that I've repackaged. I think I've got possibly 250 servings of ramen, as well as the gold packets here. That's instant mashed potatoes. There's around 40 servings in there. I've got a couple of kilograms of instant minute oats. Reason I got the minute oats, they take less water to prepare, and that's a little bit why I don't have things like dried pasta, dried beans, or dried uncooked rice in my pantry, because these are all things that will take excessive amounts of water and fuel to prepare in order to consume. So what I like to call sensi prepping, short for sensible, or common sense, is things that really can be eaten from the packaging, i.e. cans. All you need to do is open them, and if you've got a can opener and a spoon, you're good to go. Ramen noodles, again, unlike pasta and rice, you can eat them without hydrating them, and you can see there I've got some little packets of instant rice that again can be eaten from the packages. And on top of that, I got some like cookies and Twinkies, granola bars. I got some kind of potato chip type stuff, although they're actually banana chips. I got some of those peas, like kind of pea. I can't remember what they're called, but they're like pea pods, but they're like a chip. Don't know how they've done that, dehydrated or something. We've got some good old boyardee. We've got some cans of chili. We've got pork and beans, corned beef, Vienna sausage, canned chicken, canned ham, canned corned beef. I think I've already said that, as well as canned potatoes, canned soup, and things like beans, lentils, chickpeas. These are all very, very nutritionally dense items. So whether or not you have a pantry of your own, if you don't have a pantry of your own, then maybe, as I said, this pandemic, the coronavirus thing, quarantine looming, maybe this is something that you should possibly get yourself out and maybe address sooner than later. And really and truly, $20 at your local dollar store can put quite a bit of food away for an emergency. And certainly if you had $100 to spare, then you could probably put a few weeks worth of food away in one go, and that certainly would be a little bit of assurance and weight off your mind to know that you've got a little bit of food rather than no food. And as I said, it's not nice to be caught in a situation where you don't have anything in the pantry or in the cupboards, in the kitchen or in the refrigerator to live on. And over my time since I've been in Canada, I have actually experienced those times being out of work or being due to injury or ill health, when really and truly I had absolutely nothing on hand to sustain me food wise, in terms of if there was an emergency for a long period of time, then I really wouldn't survive that long, unlike now. And it is partly and mostly because of those periods of time that I've been out of work due to illness or unemployment, which are more realistic shit hitting the fan situations than doomsday, zombie apocalypse, meteors, totalitarian government takeovers happening. But this coronavirus, who knows? It does look as though it's a little bit of an actual thing. It is a little bit serious and something to be concerned about. So maybe the time to prep is now. 2020. We started this year with a couple of videos suggesting, is this the time to prep? And here we are at the end of February, and coronavirus concerns are growing and quarantine is quite possibly looming. As we said, the CDC have suggested that North Americans should be prepared for a period of quarantine. And only last year, actually, the Department of Homeland Security also suggested that Americans should have enough food on hand to sustain them for 6 months should the grid go down. This is a little bit of a boring video, I guess, in terms of visual entertainment, but the message is that prep. It doesn't it's not a foolish thing. You're not a conspiracy theorist or a tinfoil hat wearing person just for having some food insurance on hand for the likelihood or unlikelihood that there could be a quarantine or a more personal reason for you to call upon your food insurance to sustain you. So let's get ourselves back over to the have a little look around where TSP lives. There you go, and as you can see, this is my humble living space, and there is a little bathroom just on the corner there. And this is why I micro prep. That is how much space it takes up, and this pretty much is the room that I'm working with. I do got over there in the corner, you can see those containers. They are filled with water, so I have some emergency water on hand just in case. Another little thing I need to address, poor Mr. Noodles has taken a little bit of a battering, and the packaging is over broken and compromised in a couple of places, so I did have to tape him up and stick him to the thrift store fireplace that is flickering away there. And on top of my little pantry, I do have, I don't know if you can see it just tucked down there, that little red bag. That's my Dollarama bug out bag that is full of stuff that could be helpful to me if I ever have to leave my little cozy basement, as well as my eBay EDC, which also has a lot of whole bunch of stuff that could help in a survival situation should I need to call upon it and evacuate. But hopefully it never ever comes to that. And maybe I've also suggested on several occasions on this channel before that shit hitting the fan is a little bit like the carrot that leads all of us preppers, and the fear of that eventuality is what leads many people to prep and live in a tinfoil hat down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. But coronavirus, is it a conspiracy theory? Is it an actual fact? Is it a cover-up for something else, something more sinister? Who knows? I'm not trying to fearmonger or fear porn you into watching this or getting out and prepping, but as I said, guys, it's not an unsensible thing to be doing, and a few canned items on top of a stack of ramen will serve you well if it ever comes to be that you need to live off that for your survival. So thanks for watching, guys. This is a shit video production for TSP TV. See you in the next one.